happen, So in any case, it's nice to be with you all. And I guess we'll just get started with our pranam mantras to Prabhupada and to the Panchatattva, to Radha Krishna, and then we'll get to page 1 of the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. All right? We'll start together. Nama Om Vishnuvadaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Dhanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvikusha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai. Thank you very much. We'll go to page 1 of the intro of Bhagavad Gita, and you can just repeat after me. Om Jnana Timirandasya
Om Jnana Timirandasya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Jnana Anjana Shalakaya
Chakshuram Militam Yena
Chakshur Unmilitam Ena
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance,
I was born in the darkest ignorance,
and my spiritual master opened my eyes
my spiritual master opened my eyes
with the torch of knowledge.
with the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances to him.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just wondering if someone did bring down the suitcase. Is it down?
Oh, I could bring it down.
Is it just on the top floor?
Yes.
Okay. Top floor means the main floor, right?
Yes. It's just where their coats are. Like.
Do you mind bringing it down just in case? Let's have it right here. Okay. Sorry for that little interruption. Can we see all the panelists?
Like that?
Yeah. Can we get them all on?
Like this. Like a view of like all of them. Gallery like this.
Yeah, now we're talking. Haribol, everyone. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you all. Pavitra Devidasi. Of course, there's Anutama, Harikol, and Dharma. Yes. Buddha is with us. Vashanta, Vaishnavi, of course, our host. We've got Guy Gaur and company. And maybe there's more people that will join us. Hare Krishna. Anantashish too. Jai. All right. So our host, we will ask you, Vaishnavi, to take us to the verse from where we left off last week.
Okay, we'll be doing 16.6 today. And Uday will be sharing the screen because whatever reason I'm unable to do it from my side.
Sorry, Madhavi, I cannot share the screen because I'm on my phone. Actually, I'm in the temple.
Anuttama Prabhu, can you do that?
Just pull it up.
Yeah, thank you, Anuttama, for helping us on that. Okay, so it's 16.6. This chapter is entitled The Divine and Demoniac Natures. We've been spending quite a lot of time on these some of the traits that are given to the divine individuals, and then for those who are demonic, we've looked at them as well. So here's 16.6. Dvabhuta sargo lokaismin daiva asura evacha daiva vistarashas prokta asurang partame shrinu. And the translation, O son of Prita. In this world, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine, and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. Hare Krishna. All right. So I guess maybe just to get as many people involved as possible. I think probably my prediction is we're probably going to cover 6 and 7 today. Why don't we have a couple of people reading this purport? We'll share it, okay? When I say thank you, that means stop. And then the next person can take over. Vaishnavi, who are the two people you choose?
Uday and Vasanta, can you read?
All
Yes. Hare
Let
Krishna
me,
Maharaj.
Uday,
Yeah, I'm going to start. Hare Krishna. Lord Krishna, having assured Arjuna that he was born with the divine qualities, is now describing the demoniac way. The conditioned living entities are divided into two classes in this world. Those who are born with divine qualities follow a regulated life. That is to say, they abide by the injunctions in scriptures and by the authorities. One should perform duties in the light of authoritative scripture.
Thank you. Vasanta?
this mentality is called divine, one who does not follow regulator principles as they are laid down in the scriptures and who acts according to his whims is called a demoniac or asuric. There is no other criterion but obedience to the regulative principles of scriptures. It is mentioned in Vedic literature that both the demigods and demons are born of Prajapati. The only difference is that one class obeys the Vedic injunctions and the other does not. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. There we go. We did hear actually a little bit about some of the demonic qualities, and we're going to dive deeper into that as if we don't know what they are. I think we've all visited the world of demons. Most of us might put ourselves in the classification. I am one. I earned the title. But let's hear a little bit more. And of course, that's what we're getting ready for. Now hear from me of the demoniac. Does anybody have any questions on this at all? The stage is being set to hear more about the demonic qualities. So I think we can just jump right into text 7. And there's a healthy purport. So first person who would like to read, give us the Sanskrit. Next person, the English. And then we'll break this purport up into 4 or 5 people. What do you think? Vaishnavi, would you like to line us up?
Okay. Anuttama Prabhu start off with the Sanskrit and then Pavitra,
Sure.
Dharma Prabhu, Arjuna, can you read? If you can read, otherwise it's okay. And then
Don't forget our people here.
yes,
The lovely people in Ottawa. I'm
yeah,
going to ask Will if he'll read.
yes.
Okay, so we've got about 5 people, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, let's begin then. Thank you.
Pravritim cha nivritim cha janar na vidur asuraha na saucham napi characharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them.
Thank you. Beautiful. Next person.
In every civilized human society, there is some set of scriptural rules and regulations which is followed from the beginning, especially among the Aryans, those who adopt the Vedic civilization and who are known as the most advanced civilized peoples. Those who do not follow the scriptural injunctions are supposed to be demons. Therefore, it is stated here that the demons do not know the scriptural rules, nor do they have any inclination to follow them. Most of them do not know them, and even if some of them know, they have not the tendency to follow them.
Thank you. Very good. Next person.
They have no faith, nor are they willing to act in terms of Vedic injunctions. The demons are not clean, either externally or internally. One should always be careful to keep his body clean by bathing, brushing teeth, shaving, changing clothes, etc. As far as internal cleanliness is concerned, one should always remember the holy name of God and chant Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Next person.
The demons neither like nor follow all these rules for external and internal cleanliness. As for behavior, there are many rules and regulations guiding human behavior, such as the Manu Samhita, which is the law of the human race. Even up to today, those who are Hindu follow the Manu Samhita. Laws of inheritance and other legalities are derived from this book. Now, in the Manu Samhita, it is clearly stated that a woman should not be given freedom. That does not mean that women are to be kept as slaves, but they are like children. Children are not.
What?
Sorry, I had a phone call there. Children are not given freedom, but that does not mean that they are kept as slaves.
Thank you. Very good. Next.
That will be from your side. Manoj.
The demons have now neglected such injunctions, and they think that women should be given as much freedom as men. However, this has not improved the social condition of the world. Actually, a woman should be given protection at every stage of life. She should be given protection by the father in her younger days, by the husband in her youth, and by the grown-up sons in her old age. This is proper social behavior according to the Manu Samhita. But modern education has artificially devised and puffed up concept of womanly life, and therefore marriage is practically now an imagination in human society.
Jai, thank you so much. And do we have one more person in the queue?
No,
I think you stopped it there, yeah.
Can someone else pitch in who hasn't yet?
the social condition of women is thus not very good now, although those who are married are in a better condition than those who are proclaiming their so-called freedom. The demons, therefore, do not accept any instruction which is good for society, and because they do not follow the experience of great sages and the rules and regulations laid down by the sages, the social condition of the demoniac people is very miserable.
Jai, thank you very much for all those who participated in the reading and listening to these two verses, actually. Okay. So a very strong statement is made. You're demonic if you're confused. Or let's say you are in the category of you sit within the realm of demonism, which means let's say not sure of one's objective, or it may be easy target for being duped by let's say tamasic ways, negative ways. So this is the way it is for many of us. Those who do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done, or cleanliness and proper etiquette does not find a place in such individuals. Yeah, so I see very much an increase of this kind of tendency amongst people, in the terms of how people dress and their language. Most people should just, have a bar of soap and wash out their mouth. It's just there's this negative element, and also a very large display of disrespect towards elders or people who need protection. There's harsh words, like that's one of the conditions of a demonic person: harsh pride, arrogance. It seems to become very evident more and more, and it's very clear that this is demonic. These are demonic traits. Solution, Prabhupada gives some practical answers here. Keep the body clean, bathe regularly, clean your teeth well. Have you ever been near somebody who's like, oh my God? Like, when on one of the trains I recently was on, the person next to me, she smelled like a tobacco barn, like all the way through the whole 6 agonizing hours. And I just sort of tilt towards the window and, okay, nice person, just a weakness. And then on my way back from that trip, there was a fellow, he was a vegan, which was great, but he kept ordering hummus, not Hamas, but hummus from the train, the people who come by, the attendants. And he said he was very proud about his veganism, but he also ordered a lot of beer as well. So I guess you're still in the vegan category. Prabhupada has actually given us the taboos, what the positive and negative injunctions that we're supposed to follow. And just to qualify yourself as a human being, basically you should follow these values, what we call the 4 regulative principles, I just want to ask you all, because we live in a world of the pop culture. Isn't it okay just to have some cannabis? It's vegetarian. It's vegetarian. What about sexual activities? This is so rampant, and the survey was done. Americans have more of this activity indulgence than any other people in the world. And so is it good? Is it bad? Well, almost nothing is terrible. It's just like that has to be regulated. That's all. So similarly with sexual activity, must be regulated, and you have to be picky and choosy. I mean to say that once you make a commitment towards someone, that is your sex partner. And if you're leading a responsible sexual lifestyle, then you'll have children. That's the end result of it. And then you learn sacrifice, the hard way. Woo! And so all these other things, of course, we just want to say that we restrict ourselves from eating and so on. Eating meat, eating, sleeping, meeting, defending, and mating also. So. And Prabhupada says something about hygiene, cleaning the teeth, changing one's clothes. Have you ever been to a temple and once in a while some guy gets in there, and he hasn't had a bath for a long time, and then the socks have been everywhere, and even after the person is left, even 5 hours later, the stench is still on the floor. Like he left a real imprint. Has anybody ever? You're all laughing. Everybody's laughing here.
I have teenagers.
You have some Isabel. She's got teenagers, and they have socks like that. Okay. Oh, the friends, when the friends come in. Yeah. And you don't know what to do about it. Any amount of incense doesn't do the job, Yeah, so it's you got to get your eucalyptus out there, and or your pine sol. Get the pine smelling in there. So commonsensical things to do, like what puts us in the mode of goodness is these particular habits. Soon as you're kind of like a clean bean, hygienic, it makes it so much easier for following a good lifestyle. And it then becomes a platform or a springboard from where we can actually reach transcendence. But let's get clean. That's the main thing. Internal, external, and the demonic qualities, tendencies. That's not an issue. And some of our ancestors some of them were maybe living high off the hog, so to speak, high-end people. They had all the clothes at their disposal, but they didn't believe in taking a bath. They believed that if you have water exposed to you, it'll open up the pores, and then when the pores now they are susceptible, to getting viruses. What kind of a culture was that? Even some of our indigenous people, they're looking at these guys, what is this? Talking about a black beard. Nothing wrong with beards. They're okay, but you can wash everything, right? And then, and the indigenous folks, they used to go for their sweat lodges and they go and swim, They just thought the European folks were really, really interesting creatures. Anyways, if you want to make spiritual advancement, then this is what you have to do. You have to get clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Then there's any questions on this, Prabhus? Like a shower a day at least. Please, have mercy on everyone else. A shower a day, if not twice, sometimes thrice, especially if you're doing puja work. Any question on that? Common sense.
Maharaj, I have a comment.
Yes.
Out of our 4 regulative principles, 2 can be directly related to external cleanliness and internal cleanliness, like avoiding meat and the sexual part also. They can be directly correlated to those 2 aspects.
Okay, nice, fantastic. So let's be clean about our habits in these different categories. Yes, most definitely. Okay, then, yeah.
Anuttama Prabhu has a question.
Anuttama, yes.
So Maharaj, we see that there's the suras and the asuras, and we know that Ravana, for example, was learned in the Vedas, but he was considered to be an asura. So would there be would Rakshasa be another category, like these terrorists in the Middle East that they're killing each other? It's not like they learned the Vedas, so would they be in the Rakshasa category, or how does Ravana?
Rakshasa mean somebody plays rock music? Is that what you mean, Rakshasa? Okay, no, I'm just joking. Yes, terrorism. There's nothing sattvic about that, especially when we hear the goings on. People shooting innocent individuals. Come on. If you have an axe to grind with someone, pick on somebody your own size, as they say, and go into the field, go out there and just have it out with each other, and especially those who are trained in combat, but just leave everybody else out of the picture. Leave the old, the infirm, the diseased. Leave these people out there. Leave the women, the children alone, and even most of the men. In fact, the tradition in the Vedas was only people who are trained to fight. If you're trained to, somebody was crocheting, next to me on the train, so the person's trained crochet, so whatever, and so that's the condition from the past in the Vedic times. Yeah, so terrorism, definitely it's tamasic, definitely it's asuric, and basically anybody who supports terrorism, there's really a problem there in terms of it's very demonic to side with terrorists, even if you're not actively involved, physically involved. It's terrifically bad. And it becomes very clear, I guess, to some people, are you civilized or not civilized? So if you have, like in the Vedic times, we hear the stories of how the Vedic kings would manage it. They would actually be clean. They would be all decked out. They would be like in one way, a target towards each other. They did not hide behind camouflage, trees, rocks, just out totally out in the open, because they had this background in the martial arts. So now they had a chance to exercise it. Most martial artists, they don't really go out of their way to pick a fight. Like you do get these kind of characters, they go around, they're just there to bully, with no cause, rebels without causes. But the Kshatriyas, the persons who are really trained, they avoid, conflict. They try to, let's say, evade it as far as possible. But if the opportunity comes up amongst Kshatriyas and there's a challenge, one is obliged to take up the challenge. That is Kshatriya life. So we don't have that kind of situation anymore. The recent wars that have been fought, it has much more to do with being in the trench, working in the trenches, or just hiding behind whatever you can find and aiming. So there's a beautiful aspect of Vedic culture that has been more or less dismissed or been lost in society. And everybody loves the story in the Mahabharata about how Abhimanyu was kind of like mercilessly killed. And from that point on, martial codes were lost. And you can say innocence was lost and gone. So it's good to rise up to the occasion and follow the codes which are attributed and regulated for the Kshatriyas. But when that is lost, then you can say it's just kind of brutal and shameless and cowardly. Coward is the word. And it's just cowardliness is just the term that Kshatriyas just can't stand that. That's just something that they cannot stand behind. So with some of the recent murders that went on in the Middle East, it's quite shameful and has very little to do with following the values of the days of the past. Hare Krishna. Shall we talk a little bit about what's being said about women here? Once in a while it pops up in the Bhagavad Gita and purports. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I have something.
Do you want to speak up, so everybody can benefit?
I thought it's... Oh, sorry. Hare Krishna. I thought it was a nice point that Prabhupada speak about because it's like the idea is not to like shut them down, but
shut women down. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut like a woman down, but it's also like he was explaining like what he got from Krishna himself, and so he really said it in a very gentle and respectful way. I thought it was nice.
Yes, yes. I think Prabhupada would be quite shocked to hear about the kind of conversations that are going on in the field of gender these days. I think he'd just shake his head and say, these things are going on. They're just, advanced Kali Yuga. When we talk about Vedic culture, we're talking about the culture of interdependence. There are people, they're designed in this world to be protectors. And then there are those who are needing that, especially when it comes to the child bearers and children being in a safe situation. Because you never know when something will flare up. You don't know when someone's going to declare war on, another group of people. It can happen anytime. I thought that, wow, in the 60s, we're finished with war. What, songs from Motown. What is it good for?
Absolutely
nothing. Yeah, you remember it, right? So we thought it was over, and the shock of the Second World War, especially, which was still sort of haunting some people in this day and age. But yeah, here it comes again. It just doesn't seem to stop. There's a continuity here, and the cycle keeps going on. It tendency towards war has aroused from people who get extremely possessive. I want that land. I want that territory. I want those people. I want those riches. I want that salt. I want that water. I want those jewels. Good soil. And why don't we just negotiate and just share? Why does it have to be that I conquer? Yeah, if you're going to get into a conquest, why don't you address your senses and say, I am going to look at my passions and try to control them. And then I will experience peace, and then I can share that peace with others. Yeah. So, anyways, the social condition of women is such that there's need to offer protection, and I think that's really what deep down inside most people want. They want to be in a stable circumstance. When they see the opposite happens, the person who's supposed to protect is actually being invoking violence, then it kind of contradicts our purpose here, and it confuses the whole subject matter. Certainly, we have to look out for each other, and I personally think it's really nice when people dress in such a way like I'm looking for protection. But if you kind of clothe yourself in such a way, I'm just looking for action. I'm looking for exploitation. And, there's a strong language out there that is trying to tell people, come and get me, or I'm coming to get you. And it's a very unchaste kind of situation. I really appreciated when I was walking through the prairies on one of the walks and some of the more conservative areas in the southern part of the prairies where there had billboards about promoting chastity, just honoring, and saying no, the best contraceptive is say no, no, until you're good and ready for, let's say, the wholesome approach to lifestyle. So also men need to be protected, and therefore what is suggested is dress with respect, or like everything, even to the way of walking, walk in such a way that you're being respectful to other people. And any other suggestive ways would be fit into another category, rajasic and tamasic, right? But there's no restriction. Some people are very upset. You can't tell me how to dress. Have you ever heard that before? Mm-hmm. You can't tell me how to dress. Well, can't you respect me? I have my rights. Can't you dress in such a way that I will revere you instead of see you as an object? Do you want to be a toy? Or do you want to be, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a goddess? Do you want to be a god? Everybody wants some R-E-S-B-C-T. That's natural, it's a given. But when people carry on in such a way to say something totally different, like come and get me, hubba hubba. Anyways, there's a lot to be said on this particular topic, and I think that like when it comes to the man-woman thing, women want respect. They want to be honored. They want to be heard. Like someone called me the other day, said about the relationship between he and his wife, and I said, well, do you ever sit down and just talk? What Just talk to each other. It doesn't have to be duty always. I'll do this. I'll fix that. I'll do this. Just let the person speak, and you don't have to fix any problems. The problems can be solved just by being together, sitting together, whatever, and just talk it over and embracing that. These are the natural ways that men, women should operate, and if they want to stay together, healthy situation. There's also many things to be said what a man wants. I just want to be respected. I just, treat me a little bit like a hero once in a while, and I'll do everything for you. That seems to be the psychology. But rarely do we see those kind of transactions happening. So it's people are just very confused. And I guess sacrifice, yajna, is just something that doesn't play a big role in people's lives. Who's first, me or the other individual? And if you think it's me first, then it's a recipe for disaster. But if it goes more like the other way, you are first, or we are first. Hare Krishna. Any comments on that?
I had a question.
Okay, we have a question, and it's going to come loud and clear.
Yes.
From the other end of the room.
I think we can hear him.
Yeah. So you spoke about men also having some protection or something like that. Yeah. How can a man protect themselves, and also like from what exactly?
Well, you have to, in other words, don't have your eyes on everybody. That's one thing. Commit to one, and in the case of a Kshatriya or resourceful person, then you may have a group of people, but that's the Vedic system. But in general, don't entertain other individuals. Once you make a commitment, that's it. Just always think about, especially children, what do children need? It's not what I need. What do children need? And children, basically, they want stability. They want to see a strong man and a strong woman in their lives, a mom and a dad that'll always be there for them. But if a child is always seeing, different people coming into the house, and who is this character now? Is that person going to be nice to me? If it's always, a turnover, it's very unwholesome. So we're speaking in terms of old values, and that's kind of where we want to go. Hard to reverse it. Strange where it has gone. But would be nice to go a little bit backwards, perhaps. That has bad connotations. Going backwards. Usually it just means more conservative. There's nothing wrong with being conservative in relationships. So that's one way for a guy to protect himself. Just don't entertain other thoughts, other forms. There's just one Mataji for you there. And the other thing is, just you dress respectfully, you conduct yourself respectfully. Certain other practices, don't be in a room alone with another member of the opposite sex. I mean, I was seeing those kind of things when I was a kid growing old, because people were just coming out of the Victorian era, and so there were still remnants of that. But I would say there were some good elements to that culture that we've lost a grip on. Do you have any comments? Isabella?
Yes, speaking from the gender, the feminine side, it's just that spiritually speaking, now we're talking about the Vedic culture in the material world, right? So that we're dealing with certain conditionings, gender-wise, class-wise, and all these things. But aren't we supposed to transcend these?
Yes, we are supposed to transcend and see beyond the body. That is the final, that's ultimately what we want to present to people. But most people are not on that plateau, and therefore, we have to address these sort of, customs which are set in place to enhance a more like a wholesome kind of lifestyle, more protective kind of lifestyle. You can't ignore it, because Prabhupada, first of all, he came to talk to us about Varna and Ashrama. Well, Krishna consciousness, let's put it that way. Krishna consciousness, love Krishna, respect all. But because many people are not on that platform, therefore he was striving for establishing a Varna and Ashram system, which is more about following codes, following rules, following regulations. So, yeah, at the top of the list, hey, we're not these bodies, we're spirits. It's not a question of being male or female. We're all parts and parcels of the Lord. Krishna states that very clearly. But because we do have to fit into some kind of category and have obligations in this world, therefore it's good to go by some rules and regulations. And in the ashram, when Prabhupada started the brahmachari ashram or brahmacharini ashram, and young men and women were coming and joining, he was just suggesting they don't talk so freely with each other because they're not married to each other. And the whole idea in that setting is that you concentrate on your spiritual development. And if you're going to talk to the opposite sex, it would almost be limited to, pass the salt, please. Now, that might sound rigid, but if people are coming into an ashram setting, like a brahmachari training or like for a monk or a nun, it means that you're there for that reason. And then not to let go of those kind of stipulations. Yeah. I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, definitely we say that we're not these bodies. But the reality is, if you actually carry on and hold that title, I'm a spirit, it's very hard to, let's say, preserve that particular restriction. It's very hard to do that. So the reality is that man and woman, like Prabhupada said, man is good, woman is good together. And yet there's a need for them to come together for procreation and other reasons, and to learn sacrifice and all these things. So yes, on two levels we must speak. Yeah, on two levels we must talk. On the transcendental plane, and also the sort of more sort of sub-transcendental plane. Both are important. They're both important reminders. Yes, Michael, you have something?
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting, like what you said, that what Prabhupada said, ideally it would be good if like the two sexes could stay with like the bare, like a minimum, and it's not going to go further, because sometimes I find that, at least for me, it can be very like distracting. Even if it's not me in the conversation, if I see people talking, then I'm kind of confused. I'm like, am I supposed to do that? And it kind of, to me, it breaks my focus, I would say. Yeah, sure. If you're trying to get really crystallized in Krishna consciousness, then you won't be freely going around and like say flirting or those kind of things. You'll try to avoid that kind of thing. Yeah, no problem. Yes.
I just wanted to share also my own experience. I actually majored in feminist and gender studies.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. Very interesting.
So,
Very interesting.
And yeah, I was openly saying, I'm a feminist and whatnot. And yeah, so I was really fully in that environment and around other people who identified like
You're
that.
You're kind of like an activist thing. Yeah,
kind of like that.
Yeah, radical thinking, yeah.
Yeah. But, what I saw, like just by experience, I saw that the women in those circles were treated not very well, and there was a lot of like.
And that's why they became feminists.
I guess, but as feminists, they weren't being treated so well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of issues there surrounding that, like, because when you join a camp like that, there's a tendency to be very extreme and not sort of hit it in the middle and not be balanced. Yeah, surely many women have not been treated nicely in the past. So let's try to get it back to some level of, get it to a level of sanity where there can be respect. But there's always a tendency to be quite extreme in attitudes, and men will go that way. They'll be haters against women. Women are become haters against men. There's like a manhunt attitude, or vice versa. And what's beautiful about our culture is that we have Radha and Krishna, we have Sita and Ram, we have Shiva and Parvati, we have all these couples that are part of our divinity that we revere so much, and it makes a big difference. Just how a woman is to be seen like a goddess, and a person of like a masculine also. Well, how are you? To be revered as some kind of god. Respect all the way through. Yeah, so you end up with a lot of unhappy people when you go extreme. And that's the real sad situation of it, Yeah. But, I would say let a man be a man, let a woman be a woman, and let's all just kind of let them come together and just play roles. And I find the beauty of sort of like a very strong male character and a very strong female character. There's nothing more beautiful than them coming together and acting out in a complementary way, not competitive. It's not competition. So, well, in modern lifestyles, it's a little bit more competitive about in terms of money or the breadwinner and all those kind of things. And whereas in days gone by, it was just much more complementary, and it's become a very hellish situation. So we're as a result of all this extremism, now we've got a low birth rate that like it doesn't work anymore. Like we're shrinking. Certain numbers of people in certain communities, they're shrinking. We're not up to the rate where we're supposed to be in terms of progeny and procreation. So there's a lot of social conditions that are quite devastating, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we got distorted ideas about our roles, our gender roles.
Yeah. I just also wanted to say, like,
I think that's very interesting what you're saying, Alex. We want to hear more from you about it. Maybe not now, but it's. I think that feminist music movement had some issues in the beginning, but now it's gone overboard and it's got extreme in another way. Would you agree with me? I won't strangle you if you don't agree with me.
I think that I don't think it's all terrible. I think it came about for a certain reason.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I think the solution to women's issues and exploitation, it's actually to go back to the Vedic way. That's what I realized. And when I'm in association of devotees and stayed in various temples, I see that from my perspective that I've never seen women treated so well before, and that they seem to be happier and respected, and you don't see the usual drama of relationships. Oh, this guy did this with this girl and this and all of this, So it's very nice to not have to deal with all of that.
That's nice. So I guess you'd give testimony to the fact that Srila Prabhupada brought this whole culture to the world for us to, just to bring us to a level of improvement.
Because like the reason why I went into feminism in the first place was because at the time I had always been kind of a little bit feminine, so I just kind of had friends that were girls like around me. And then I just saw as I was getting older, so many of them were getting some kind of sexual assault or something like that, or touched or this and that, so I started to feel like, okay, there's something wrong, and then I started to take some classes on that. That's kind of like, I'm not going to go into details, but I had a partner that happened to her, and anyways, but I see that, you take the Krishna consciousness, you follow Prabhupada, and then, that's the solution right there, I mean,
there has to be a way that it works nicely. And we crave for that. We don't like to see people being abused and assaulted or things like that. Yeah. So on the top level, let's always bear in mind, I'm not this body. I'm of this gender now. I may be of the other gender in the future, or how many others there are out there. But definitely, we have to bear that in mind. I'm a spirit soul, and I must be in the servant category. If you are so-called very much in love with someone, it means that you're ready to serve that person, and the mutual reciprocation has to come. It's about service, and that's what's missing. That's what we're missing. That's what's out of the equation. They don't talk about service to each other. So I want to have fun. I want to love you. It's being self-aggrandized. Well, how are we doing for time?
It's like
53.
53. So we got just a few minutes left. Hare Krishna. So we covered two particular verses, and they're good ones. There's lots of good juice there. Does anybody have any other questions or comments they would like to bring up in regards to this demonic stuff?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Dharma ji.
Yeah. So what I've seen now, many companies, they are promoting, particularly engineering companies. Normally the girls are less as engineers, they're encouraging them to hire, increase the population of engineers. That's what they're trying to do. That's a good thing, so they get kind of exposure to engineering side of the business.
Anyway, okay, sure, but I think there's something missing here. What they're not encouraging people to do is to come out as good husbands and fathers, good mothers and wives. That's what's missing, because that's when the service element comes into play. And again, they're missing I think it's another disaster. Who's going to look after children? You got children. Should somebody else be looking after them? What about you? What about the mom and the dad? Shouldn't they give, maximize time let's say, maximize and increase the time they give to their own children? But it's the whole world is playing into the hands of the corporate people. The guys who make money, the few at the top that make the money, and everyone else has to be like a slave. So I'm not sure if I agree with trying to be, empowering women to have them be, in a particular role that is kind of natural for men. And why be so artificial? Why should men be, always be should men have equal opportunity with babies? They don't have their what do you call these? Nipples, the men's nipples, they don't give any milk. So why can't we just be kind of more natural? What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Equal doesn't mean competitive. Again, going to that point, complementing is more the way we want to go in terms of, expressing equality. And that's why I have issues with Radha and Krishna, because artists usually portray Krishna as being like a girl. And people say, who are those two girls there? Why can't Krishna look like a man? That's another issue. You know what I'm talking about? Why can't Krishna look masculine? What's the matter with you artists out there?
Does this look like your girl this way?
Yeah, there's two girls right here. And it's Radha and Krishna. Yeah.
Can't really see.
Who's that girl with Arjuna? The one by the horses, What's wrong with the epitomizing the male and the female? There's nothing more beautiful than two people coming together. When they're together, it's beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful physically in this world. Yeah. But when you emasculate, or the other version for the female, it's a little bit odd for me. Anyways.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, that's right.
Maharaj, we have just a comment. Like I just mentioned, the topmost philosophy is we are spirits. So, but that's practically speaking, we come to the subcategory like we can draw the take benefit from the Shastra, like Bhagavad Gita says. We are a universal brotherhood. We cannot think of spirits. We are all brothers and sisters because we have a same spiritual father. So if we look at any woman, we should feel that relation we have. We are related. We are not estranged. So if we don't feel any compassion or relation, then that vacuum is not good. So and if we and then there are many other injunctions from shastras, like the women and children and old people, they are direct under the protection of the Lord. So if we do any tampering, we are severely punished. So if we are aware of all these injunctions, then one remains careful.
Yes, so strict adherence to Shastra, strict adherence to the yamas and the niyamas of our culture, the positive and negative injunctions, what's proper action, what's improper action. If we're aware of these things, then yeah, we're in a more stable situation. We definitely have to get out of this demonic kind of world where you don't know what is to be done, what is not to be done, and like this verse seems to indicate. Yeah. Anybody else? Should we go for takeaways? Do we have time?
It's 59.
I have a comment, Maharaj. This is Haripad Das from. But in general, Krishna is portrayed as or the threefold bending form or something they call it. I think when he is portrayed like that, only in the company of gopis, lady devotees, this innermost circle. And like when he's on the chariot or when he's with Arjun, usually he's portrayed in a more masculine way.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I understand what you say. Curvy Krishna, yeah.
Yes.
And then Krishna might take us, a more, let's say, what is the word I'm looking for? A posture that's a little more firm. That's true. I'm talking about facial expression and the physical structure. It tends to be a little bit more feminine.
Yes, I would agree on the face side. Yeah.
Can we change that?
I agree with you that it should be a little more
balanced. It's not balanced.
Yes.
It's too far swinging over to the female side. Should be in the middle. Yeah, look at any pictures of Krishna. It's all like a girl. Yeah, Krishna's got more makeup than Madonna. Right?
Yes. I mean,
we're doing a project up northern Ontario where in the lobby we're going to have a large Krishna made of maple and a large Radha. And we made it very firm with our our artists that both he and I looked at, models of, like sort of hero types, heartthrobs, whatever, for the male side. And for the female side, we found pictures of Scarlett O'Hara or Vivian Lee because she looks like an Indian princess, Does anybody know Vivian Lee? with Gone with the Wind. Just look at some of the pictures, you know. You can look it up online when we're finished. Vivian Lee. And then we looked at from the male side. In the 50s, there was a person who played the role of Hercules, and it's sort of a demigod facial expression. We kind of chose him as the Krishna. So
Nice.
they were very adamant that it's going to be a male and a female and not two females. Or looking like.
What about baby there? Does it look female?
Oh, it's a baby.
Baby is okay.
It's pure.
We didn't want Krishna to look like a male in drag. All right. So anyways, thank you very much, Bruce. We're going to get together next week. And next week looks pretty good. As some of us are getting together, we have a big AGM for across Canada and some states. And it's the first time we're getting together in 4 years because of the pandemic that broke things up. So we're going to talk about leadership issues, and we're all getting together. It's going to be a real nice time. We're starting on Thursday, but I'm going to set aside that Thursday for that. Haripal, do you have your hand waving quickly? Then.
No, hand clapping, Maharaj, clapping for the...
Oh, is that what it was? It was clapping. Yeah. For Bruce, we hope that you enjoyed the topic today, and it went by so fast. Isn't it, Anutama? Like that. You know? Yes. But these are all relevant topics, and they have a lot to do with the way the world is today. Thank you so much. And from all of us here in Ottawa, and from all of you who are coming from various planets, all I can say is Hare Krishna Pancha Kalpatarubhyas Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. All glories.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Jai. Thanks for bringing the big screen. It's kind of nice. It's a nice change. Yeah, we'll close the window. Thanks, Will.